Easter Island, the mystery of Rapa Nui's ecological collapse. Chapter 1. Giants of Stone. Imagine standing on an island so remote that the nearest inhabited land lies more than 2,000 kilometers away. An island surrounded by nothing but the endless Pacific Ocean. No neighboring kingdoms, no nearby civilizations, only wind, waves, and silence. This is Rapa Nui, known to the world as Easter Island, one of the most isolated inhabited places on Earth. Yet, scattered across its volcanic landscape stand nearly 1,000 colossal stone figures, silent faces gazing toward the island they were built to protect, the Moai. Some weigh over 80 tons. The largest unfinished statue would have exceeded 150 tons, heavier than a modern passenger airplane. The first European visitors arriving in 1722 could scarcely believe what they were seeing. How had a small island community created monuments on such an extraordinary scale? The answer begins centuries earlier. Around the 12th century, Polynesian navigators crossed thousands of kilometers of open ocean using nothing but stars, ocean swells, winds, and generations of accumulated knowledge. They reached an island covered in towering palm forests, rich volcanic soils, seabirds by the millions, an untouched paradise. There they established one of humanity's most remarkable island societies. The Moai were carved primarily from volcanic tuff at the quarry of Rano Raraku. Master sculptors transformed the soft stone into towering ancestors believed to embody spiritual authority known as mana. These were not gods, they were revered ancestors, guardians watching over their descendants. The greatest mystery was never how they were carved, it was how they moved. For generations, theories suggested enormous wooden sledges and rollers. Recent experimental archaeology offers another possibility. Using ropes and careful coordination, teams demonstrated that replicas of the statues could be walked upright, rocking gently from side to side. Perhaps the islanders themselves described it best. According to Rapa Nui oral tradition, the statues walked. Whatever method they employed, one truth is undeniable. Building and transporting hundreds of colossal monuments demanded remarkable engineering, planning, leadership, and cooperation. The Moai were more than works of art. They were proof that even in the most isolated corner of Earth, human ambition knew no limits. Chapter 2. The Self-Inflicted Doom. But every civilization lives within the limits of its environment, and on Rapa Nui, those limits were absolute. The island's forests were its lifeline. Towering palms provided timber for houses, wood for fishing canoes, fuel for cooking, protection against erosion, and almost certainly materials used in moving the giant statues. As generations passed, the demand for wood continued to grow. More land was cleared for farming, more trees disappeared, more monuments were built. For centuries, the changes may have seemed insignificant. One tree, then another, until the forest could no longer recover. Pollen preserved in ancient lake sediments reveals a striking transformation. The island that had once been densely forested became almost entirely treeless. Without roots to anchor the soil, fertile earth washed away. Crop yields declined. Fresh water became increasingly difficult to manage. Without large trees, constructing seaworthy canoes became nearly impossible. Fishing offshore, once a vital source of protein, declined dramatically. The islanders found themselves trapped, unable to replace the resources they had exhausted. Archaeological evidence suggests that competition between clans intensified. Defensive sites appeared, weapons crafted from obsidian became increasingly common. Many Moai were deliberately toppled during periods of internal conflict. The symbols that had once united communities became casualties of social fragmentation. For decades, this story was presented as a simple cautionary tale of environmental destruction. Modern research paints a more nuanced picture. Deforestation was almost certainly driven by human activity, but it was likely accelerated by the accidental introduction of the Polynesian rat, which consumed vast quantities of palm seeds, preventing forests from regenerating. Climate fluctuations may also have placed additional stress on agriculture. Collapse, it seems, was not caused by a single mistake. It emerged from the interaction of environmental change, ecological pressure, and human decision-making. Not a sudden apocalypse, but a slow unraveling, one choice following another, until there were no easy choices left. Chapter 3. The lesson at the edge of the world. And yet, the people of Rapa Nui did not disappear. That is perhaps the greatest misconception of all. When Europeans arrived in the 18th century, they encountered a society already transformed. Life had become more difficult, but the islanders endured. They adapted their farming techniques by creating stone gardens that protected crops from wind and preserved moisture. They reorganized their communities. They survived. The greatest tragedies came later. European diseases, slave raids during the 19th century, colonial exploitation. These catastrophes devastated a population that had already spent centuries adapting to environmental hardship. Yet the culture endured. Today, the descendants of the Rapa Nui continue to preserve their language, traditions, and ancestral heritage. Their history is not simply one of collapse, it is one of resilience. Perhaps that is why Easter Island continues to fascinate us, not because it represents a civilization that failed, but because it resembles something far more familiar: a closed world, finite resources, growing ambitions, difficult choices. There was no neighboring island to rescue Rapa Nui, no endless forest beyond the horizon, only the land they possessed. In that sense, Rapa Nui is more than an island. It is a mirror, a miniature version of our own planet. Today, humanity commands technologies the ancient islanders could never have imagined. We monitor Earth from satellites. We model climate with supercomputers. We understand ecosystems in extraordinary detail. Yet the essential question remains unchanged. How do we balance progress with the limits of the world that sustains us? The Moai still stand, silent, weathered by centuries of Pacific winds, not as monuments to failure, but as reminders that civilizations are built through vision, sustained through wisdom, and preserved only when ambition learns to live within the boundaries of nature. At the edge of the world, the people of Rapa Nui left us more than stone statues. They left us one of history's most profound lessons. The greatest mysteries are not always buried beneath the earth. Sometimes they are written into the choices we make every day.